My name is Sean Mack. I'm the retail showroom manager, and I myself have known Guf here, as we call him around the shop, for several years. This will be a great opportunity for you guys to get to know him a little bit better. So we're going to do kind of a little sit-down powwow interview with myself and Guf. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, good to see you as always.
As well.
I understand you've been working at some aspect of the snowboard industry for quite some time. When did you start riding, and where'd your roots start at?
Well, I didn't start snowboarding. I actually started skiing. My uncles got me into skiing when I was like 6 years old. I skied for about 5-6 years, and one of my buddies got this old Kemper snowboard, and he snowboarded. I skied for a little bit, and then I decided to start renting. So I rented a couple times, and then the next season, in 1993, I got a canoe skidder for my birthday.
Sweet, man. So that was kind of the genesis of it all. Where were you at? I mean.
I grew up in Alexandria, Minnesota, and
Sweet.
There's a local mountain about 15 miles away called Andes Tower Hills.
Kind of a hotbed, really.
Yes, it is the place to be.
Yes,
if you're in central Minnesota.
So I also understand too that and this is how I know you, is through the coaching and the G team and that kind of thing. So where did your roots in Alexandria really kind of get you into the whole coaching aspect?
Well, it's kind of interesting how I got into it. It's not too long of a story, but it had some depth to it. When I was younger, I was a regional and national level competitor, and after high school, I moved to Minneapolis to study design. And when I arrived in the fall, I received a call from the Kraft sisters. It's two old pros, Allison and Amber Kraft, who were working for the National Sports Center and the Community Olympic Development Program. And they called me up. They asked me if I wanted to do a half-pipe coaching position, and I said sure. I was like 18 years old. And
why wouldn't you at that point?
Exactly. It was great. It was kind of funny because like when I first jumped on the coaching staff, like Steve Fisher and Nick Botko were all like seniors in high school. I didn't have the opportunity to coach those guys because we were so similar in age, and they had their own coaches. But it was cool to like meet those guys then and see them progress.
Sure.
But that's where I started. Community Olympic Development Program in the National Sports Center.
Sick, dude. Well, so starting with that, where did you go to from there?
That lasted for about 2 seasons, and I overlapped 2 coaching seasons with the G Team Incorporated. It was a small team at the time, based out of Bloomington, Minnesota. At the time, they had like 5 coaches, including myself, and 35 athletes. And then progressively over like 10 years, I helped develop the team with full year-round training programs to over 60 coaches, 400 athletes, and 5 different training locations.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So as you kind of worked your way from into that, I know you do some competing as well, or have in the past. I mean, how did your coaching really kind of identify you as an athlete too at that point?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I first started coaching with CODP, I was still competing on like a national level. After a couple of years, I started to realize that I definitely had a lack of talent. It was not qualifying for finals and the Vans Triple Crowns and Grand Prix and Burton Opens and things of that sort. So I really started to focus on my riders. But that was kind of fun too, because I got to progress with my riders as a coach, not only educating myself, but growing with them in the processes of what they were doing. So every time they got invited onto a team, I'd be invited into the coaching staff of that team, from the All-American, the USASA All-American team, to the U.S. Junior Worlds team. Like as my riders started to get better through my coaching philosophies, I got asked by these organizations to help coach. It was kind of cool. It was cool to see my kids grow, into unbelievable heights in their riding, and then also to grow, as a coach as well.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Pretty important to be able to do that. Kind of cool to be able to see it happen in front of you.
Oh yeah.
So through your coaching too, I know you've done some traveling as well. You've been taking part in Windels and that kind of thing. Where else has that brought you to where you can really kind of parlay that into your future into snowboarding?
Oh man, well, traveling is definitely a big part of competitive snowboarding, of course, and then coaching as well. So being able to travel around with the All-American team, Junior Project Gold, Junior World Team, G Team, and U.S. Deaf Olympic Team has really given me the opportunity to travel a lot. So I've gotten the chance to go to New Zealand a couple of times, Chile, Argentina, Italy a couple of times, Switzerland, and then of course all over the States. Pretty much seeing every single major resort.
Sure. Yeah, that's very cool, man. What's I guess for lack of a better question here, what's going to be what do you kind of see yourself in your continued involvement in the snowboard industry itself? Do you see yourself continuing to coach or maybe sales rep or something like that? I mean, really kind of what's your long-term goal here in this industry?
Oh man, that's actually a really good question. In the future, I definitely want to continually help riders realize the potential that they have, whether it be just doing camps, working with the U.S. Deaf Team and all the other facets of snowboard coaching in different organizations, and then even coaches education as well, working with the U.S. Snowboard Coaches Education Committee, actually creating material and coaching coaches and directing clinics on how they can become certified and doing that. But the next step, I think, definitely with the House Board Shop is becoming the #1 location for the average snowboarder to go and find resources on what product is, how it rides, and what it's going to be like before they buy it, so they don't have to go to all the demo days and listen to. Well, it's good to listen to shop people, of course, because they're very knowledgeable. But I like the house, whether it be the showroom or the online videos and review videos, to be like the place that everyone knows about and everyone goes to.
And as you've kind of led into a little bit, you've been doing some of the product videos and that kind of thing. Are you taking anything out of that? I mean, are you so knowledgeable at this point where you could pretty much point it at the side cut and know the side cut radius and all that stuff too, or are you still teaching yourself some things?
I'm definitely still. I do not know. I do not know. Yeah, I do not know everything. I'll definitely give you that. And I think being on snow with the product is one of the most important things, and being able to call the manufacturers and call the companies, call the sales reps, and talk with you and all the salespeople, just to get constant feedback on how they think it rides, or if I don't know a spec, or if I can't find the resource for a spec to actually get it.
Sure, yeah, that's important. We see that a lot in the shop where you get those cats that come in that need to know everything head to toe, and it's important to be able to tell them that information, because if you can't, I mean, you're kind of barking up the wrong tree. But I've watched your videos, dude. They're awesome. I'm super stoked to see you around here more, and and hopefully too in the future that you don't bail on me and you still want to do my tech stuff and do tunes. And, yeah, he does all the tunes for everybody that comes in the shop, that drops off all their stuff. Does an A1 job, and hopefully you can continue to do that for us too.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Cool.